Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of our two-part series of interviews with global business leaders. We are here with Mr. Saranga Wijeyarathne, the president of Colombo Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Wijeyarathne, welcome back.
Thank you.
I would like to start off by doing a small recap on part 1 of the interview for those who might have missed it. In fact, if you have missed it, I will strongly recommend you go back and click on that and watch it first. In part 1, we spoke about the Sri Lanka economic crisis that happened last year and the impact to Sri Lankan businesses, as well as how the Colombo Chamber of Commerce took a step up to support their members. We also spoke about why now is the best time to actually place your investment in Sri Lanka. Now, moving along with the Colombo Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Wijeyarathne, can you tell me how many members do you have at this point, and what are their major challenges?
Yes, we have, when it comes to individual membership, we have more than 400 members right now. But there are some institutional members where we have members indirectly, because members of the member organization. So if you take all these together, so we can say that we have about reach to more than 10,000 members. But when you take the individual memberships, it's stand as about 400 plus. Your specific question of, okay, what sort of problems they face. Number one, they are having a huge mind battle because of the uncertainty. They're in a panic mode. So that itself is an issue. Outside is one, but issue inside you can be worse. So they are in a huge uncertainty. They're in a panic mood. So I believe in the market that I operate, which is MSME, comparatively, they are in a more panic mood. So I believe that is their biggest issue. They have to come out of that to address issues outside. So that I consider as the number one issue. And yes, as if anyone else, their business is down. And they're increasingly looking at increasing their footfall of their branches, or sell more, get more revenue out of what they sell. So and also one of the biggest issues in the recent past is the access to finance, because most of these sector entrepreneurs are dependent on cash sales because of a lack of buying power and lack of money in the hands of buyers. They move from like cash to credit. So you have to give them credit because you are not having a significant business in hand also. So you are not in a position to demand more terms to your buyers. So sometimes you have to even accept some of the unfavorable conditions when at the time of doing sales. So because of that, you have cash flow issues. But at the same time, either there are restrictions by banks to give loans, overdraft facilities, or financial assistance, or you have to get it at a higher rates. which will have a negative impact. So this access to finance is also an issue for all these MSME sector entrepreneurs. So I would say they have issues inside because they are panic. They got panic because of the situation. And when you go outside, they have an issues of access to finance and also getting more sales because the market is with buyers who don't have much of a buying power. So these are the common issues in this sector, what we see as a chamber.
Thanks for that. Now, like we were mentioning earlier about the talk of the global recession, it's a little bit hard to pinpoint what exactly the root cause of this recession might be when it hits the world. It could be inflation. It could be so many other things. Now, I like to expand a little bit on what you just said, access to finance. How are banks stepping up to the challenge?
At the early stage of pandemic situation, there were a lot of moratoriums, lot of support from banks, which was directed by the government through Central Bank of Sri Lanka. And many got benefits out of that. And some of these moratoriums were extended on a later stage as well. But in the recent past, maybe if you take the last 1 year, Sri Lankan business community had two main issues. Number one, there was the limitations of foreign exchange availability in Sri Lanka, less dollars, due to two main reasons, because the dollar inflow to the country has been blocked. Our foreign exchange revenue coming from few major areas. Number one is through tourism, which was greatly affected due to the country situation and also because of the global health crisis. All over the world, it has been hit. So most of one of biggest dollar inflow to the country has been blocked because of that. And also we heavily depend on the money sent to Sri Lanka by Sri Lankans who living abroad and Sri Lankans who work abroad. That has been significantly came down. So that also affected on our availability of dollars. Also, at the same time, the exporters find it difficult in short run and also affected the inflow of dollars. But as a country depend on most of the critical items to be imported to the country. Our outflow of dollars remains either same or increased. So because of that, there was a shortage of dollars in the country, which was affected on Sri Lanka because we have an issue of opening LCs, sending TT to bring either finished goods and also raw material for the manufacturer. So this was one of the biggest issues if you take 1 year back that we were facing. So that's one of specific issues for Sri Lanka compared to other countries in the region. But luckily now the situation is much different. Now you have an availability of dollars and less pressure of opening LCs to bring down commodities or raw material or sending money. So this has greatly positively affected on the Sri Lankan business community. But access to finance was an issue because most of the banks stopped giving facilities because they find it very risky. Because banks finally is also doing a business. Because in a situation like this, if the banking system collapses, it will be we will be in a deeper problem. So we at the same while protecting the business community, we need to protect the financial system of the country as well.
Right.
So if and we have two government banks, but again, even if they start giving excessively, they also might fall, which will be a very bad signal even to the outside of Sri Lanka. So we balancing all these things is not an easy task. Even any government, any leader in a country, regardless who was in power, it's a very challenging situation. But I believe last few months or 1 year that Sri Lanka is like managing the situation is very well to uh, bring some sort of a recovery for the economy. Now we can feel that things are getting eased. And also there is a trend of the interest rates coming down. The dollar rates have came down uh, by about 10%, which is a significant impact. And at the same time, there's a trend of interest rates coming down. So the market rates are coming down. So it will ease the borrowings of the business community. So overall, yes, there was an issue of access to finance, but it is getting sorted slowly. So I think within next, with the support of IMF, with the support of our friendly nations, because when we have a dollar issue, that India has given a credit support scheme where the Indian companies start getting the payments in INR, Indian rupee, where Sri Lankan companies paying Sri Lankan rupee. It's a central bank arrangement of two central banks, which has given a massive boost for essential item imports like medicine and food. And also at the same time, most of our raw materials are either coming from China or from India. So this has given a lot of support, because the support of these friendly nations also played a big role in this economic recovery of Sri Lanka. So now the things are getting better, and we expect more more relaxed situation in months to come.
Great. That's really good to know. That's in fact great news. Now let's talk a little bit more about your chambers of commerce. Can you tell us a little bit more about the activities, the various activities that your members engage in? Because I do understand, and I believe this is across the board for all chambers of commerce. Doesn't matter what kind of activities you have. The most important thing is a chamber's member has to play an active role in all of the activities organized by the chamber in order to reap the full benefits. So, how active are your members?
Yes, of course. As I said, we operate in MSME sector where they value a contribution from a chamber, because that is big thing for them, because they have less opportunities, they have less networking opportunities, they have less access to information. So whatever the support given by a chamber is something significant for them. So because of that, they are very active. So as a chamber, we look at few areas. Number one is giving them networking opportunities. So that is very important, not only networking opportunities outside Sri Lanka, but even within Sri Lanka, they want networking opportunities, because they though Sri Lanka is a small country, we have the urban rural uh, communities. And also uh, though Sri Lanka is a small country which is just 65,000 square kilometers, but there are Sri Lankans who have not visited some of the cities in Sri Lanka. So if you do a business, the relationships you build all over the country is very, very important. So we give that opportunity to link through chambers, because we have regional chambers. For example, if you go to north and east, there are about 8 chambers in north and east. So if you come to central part of the country, there are chambers operators. So every district has a chamber. Every province has a bigger chamber. So when you link with chamber, you have an access to members of these regional chambers. So we facilitate these networking. So that is one of key areas that we focus. So, and also when it comes to education and the access to information is less. So we do a lot of workshops. So for example, export procedures is something that they don't know. So whenever we do anything on export procedures, we have a huge response, because they have a burning desire to export something, because they, as a Sri Lanka, as a small country, they can't depend only on the local market. So that is one thing that we do. We focus on education and trade delegations. Before the pandemic situation, that we are very active in organizing trade delegations, but for last couple of years, because of travel restrictions and also increased cost of traveling, we have not focused much on trade delegation. But this is an area that we are going to be very active in future, because whenever you say that you are going for a trade delegation, there's a huge demand to be a part of it, because they are very, very enthusiastic about going out of the country. So this is something that we do to create business opportunities and also networking. And also we give a lot of advisory services. As I said earlier, if you're playing in a bigger company, you have a lot of brains inside. But MSME sector, either most of these entrepreneurs either operate as sole proprietary business or partnerships. There are only two partners mostly, or one person is running the show. So they need advisory services, especially during the COVID time. We had a panel of advisors to give them advisors. As I said earlier, for example, even if the moratorium is given, they don't know how to apply. So that advice has to come from chamber, which we have done. And we have a very active member base where they continuously reach out to us, asking questions, asking how they can link with the world and how they can grow their businesses. So they come to our offices and sit with us and get talk to us and get the advices. And also we have a panel, and also we have a very active board of directors who are always willing to come forward and sit and give a free advisory services for whoever want that. So that is uh, the key in our chamber, and we are very happy to help this sector to grow.
In fact, that is one of the key points as to why businesses in Sri Lanka ought to take up a membership with you. Uh, Moving on, I would like to speak a little bit more about the various types of memberships that you have. I believe you have the corporate membership for companies, and you also have individual memberships. We have been to quite a number of chambers where they focus a little bit more on the companies, and for the companies itself, they can actually break it down to how many employees they want to send for events. But with your chamber, you actually have the individual memberships where opportunities are being presented to the individual who wants to come into the workforce, who wants to be an entrepreneur, someone who actually wants to set up his own business. He's given the guidance, he's given the directives. He has a vision, he has a mission he wants to accomplish, and the chamber actually takes a step up, comes forward and assists him. So tell us a little bit more about the various kind of memberships that you have.
Yes, we mostly have individual members. You are correctly spotted that. That because of the reason that we are operating in MSME sector. As I just said, as an answer to the previous question, most of our businesses are either sole proprietary or partnerships. So when it comes to the success or failure of those organizations is purely depend on success or failure of that particular individual who run the entire show. So their individual personal development and how ready he is to acquire new knowledge, how much he is getting updated, how much this individual person is like having a desire to find new markets, decide the success or the failure of that particular organization. So because of that, we focus mainly on individuals than getting more and more institutional members. Institution, yes, we do have institution members. What we focus and push more is more and more entrepreneurs, individual entrepreneurs to become members. This sector is mostly working on relationships. So when you have more individual members, their interaction and their interaction with the chamber and their interaction with the membership is more. So we encourage the individual members to come because we know their personal development play a key role in their business success because they mainly operate alone with less support. So that is why that we have an individual category, which we promote more. But in addition to that, we have corporate memberships, we have institutional memberships, both. But I think 90% of our membership are individual members. And we are very happy to have more and more people engage with us because then only that we can give them customized service. Customized because their needs are different. So we can give a more customized, more focused attention when we deal with an individual which has the major share of the success of their respective organization.
I think you brought up a very valid point when you speak about customized service and customized solutions. Because in the business world, we have to curate every single solution based on the needs and the requirements of your members. Now, if an individual wants to become a member of your chamber, what is the procedure? Does he just go online and sign up, or does he have to walk into your office?
They can do both. They can come to any of our office as well. But the simplest way of doing it is to send us a simple email where we will share our member applications because it is subject to a process of evaluation and subject to the approval of our board if you are enrolling any members. But if anyone drop an email to info@ccc.lk, our general email address, that we are more than happy to assist to become a member and enjoy the benefits of the chamber.
Great. Now, we are coming to the end of this interview. Just before we go, Mr. Wijeyarathne, I would like to ask you, do you have any final words to share with the, number one, the global business community, with the entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka, as well as potential investors?
Number what I wanted to say is every crisis is creating an opportunity. So, because person who is don't get panic and keep your head straight in a crisis situation, may be having a competitive advantage. Because when the situation is vulnerable and when people are in two mind in a panic mode, somebody who is wise can do wonders. That is what we strongly believe. So the number one message that I need to take forward is the crisis is creating an opportunity, and it's up to you to grab it and take the maximum for your organization uh, out of it. Uh, but not the most important thing is not to get panic. So if you are panic, you start taking wrong decisions. So you have to be mentally strong, and you have to trust that all these issues, global issues, the country issues are temporary. If you think in that kind of a positive manner, if you are mentally strong, if you are not panicked, that I'm sure that you can survive and you can really taste success. But the message from Sri Lanka to the global community is Sri Lanka is a beautiful country. Sri Lanka is a very friendly nation. Sri Lanka is famous for their hospitality. Sri Lanka is consists of a very high, very high skilled labor force, and we are a very honest nation. And we need more and more people to come to Sri Lanka, invest in Sri Lanka, deal with Sri Lanka, and support us as well. At the same time, I'm sure that if you really focus on strategic areas in Sri Lanka, that it will be mutually beneficial. And because of the very high skilled labor force, you do not need to depend on getting down any of the labors. You have a very skilled force here. And if for example, if you grow anything in Sri Lanka, you will get, because we have a very, very powerful soil in the country. We are rich in we don't have natural disasters like most of the other countries are facing. So it's a safe country to be, right? And as I said, it's a very friendly nation that you will feel a difference if you come to Sri Lanka. So this is a country that you must come, because we do have a lot of trade agreements. We have GSP plus. So even if you need to come to Sri Lanka and invest on an export-oriented industry, I'm sure that there are loads of benefits you can get comparatively to going to another country. So I would like to invite the global investors to come to Sri Lanka, and it will be really a mutually beneficial exercise.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wijeyarathne. I think we will do our very best to pass your message along. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Saranga Wijeyarathne, the president of the Colombo Chamber of Commerce. If you are interested to set up your business in Sri Lanka, or if you're an entrepreneur already in Sri Lanka and doing your business and you want to turn your business around, look up the Colombo Chamber of Commerce. These guys, you have to join them because they can offer you the kind of support that you cannot get anywhere else. You can check out their contact details below this video, right below this video. And as always, thank you for watching, and remember to hit the subscribe button to watch more global interviews with the movers and shakers of the business world. Stay focused, stay blessed, and stay safe. I'm Francis Michael, and I'll see you soon on The Chamber Guy.